This Tone Pro bridge off the ES339 was missing this screw. With this set screw missing, there was quite a bit of movement of this side of the bridge was kind of jiggling on the post. Before we do lock that bridge into place, we're going to get rid of this looseness in the machining by wrapping those threads in some Teflon tape and tightening up those thumb wheel adjustments. So just to illustrate, this is a wrapped post, right? This is an unwrapped post. That's what we're doing with the Teflon tape. We're taking up that slop in the machining. So with that screw missing on this side, that's how much play we had in the bridge. This is like 20 thou, probably 24 thou play. I'm going to check that first with a straight edge and just make sure we're in the ballpark there as far as bridge height. That looks pretty good. Looks like this side could come down a little bit. The idea with the Tone Pro bridge is you lock the bridge to the post with a set screw. Don't reef these things too much. It's just, you don't need a lot. Yeah. That's what we were after. And you can see there's still a little bit of play in those saddles, but we're going to take care of that too when we reach that point. I'm about to heat up this nut and take it out because we're putting in a compensated nut. I wanted to point out all this rippling in the lacquer first before I remove the nut. So just remember, that was there. That was not me. This is right from the Gibson factory. So before I clean it up, I just wanted to show you what we've got. When we look closely, you can see that the actual nut is below the surface of the binding ever so slightly. So we're going to clean that up while it's still warm. There is not so much as a microchip of wood. There's the bottom of the nut. And this is where I scored along that leading edge to make sure we didn't pull any lacquer here. This is the beautiful press fit that we're after. It's not just a matter of getting a press fit because it looks nice. You're getting a press fit because you're restoring the structural integrity of the headstock. So make sure that that fit is not loose or wobbling. Now we shape the crown and start working on the values of each nut slot for this gauge of string, 10 to 46, concert pitch. I did put this peel and stick foam block at the leading edge of that pickup cavity because the pickup itself was tilting towards the fingerboard. So now it's in line with the trajectory of the string path, dead level. The bridge pickup is pretty good. It looks like it could almost come back the other way. I'll verify that when we get the strings on. We have arrived. The compensated nut is done, frets are dressed, and the Tone Pro bridge is set up. I put that extra set screw in there, pickups are balanced, and this is 10 to 46 strings of concert pitch. So we'll start with the open strings of the first fret note. The 7th fret and corresponding 19th fret octave. So we're bringing you in for the wrap-up on this. We balanced that pickup out so we got kind of pretty close to equidistance from the underside of the string to the face of the pickup cover. And this is a Tone Pro bridge. Remember, we were missing a set screw on this side. Both set screws have been tightened. And again, don't reef on those things. It doesn't take that much pressure. They've just been snugged down, so this bridge now is rock solid. It's not moving. It's a Tone Pro tailpiece, of course, it's locked down. The other thing I wanted to point out was, in past videos, you know, we've talked about wraparound or not wraparound. That is not touching. This side, same thing. Looks like it might be touching. It's not. Of course, the middle strings arch up higher, so they're definitely not touching. So the string path is uninterrupted from the tailpiece to the tip of the focal point on the saddle. No issue there. Here's your view of the neck pickup. I put that peel and stick foam block on the neck side of the pickup cavity to balance that pickup out so it's even with the trajectory of the string path. So both pickups have been kind of padded and balanced and adjusted to the right height. That's a good height there. You don't really have to come in too much closer. When you go to hone that note in and it's just about there and you see the tuner wavering like that, 90% of the time your pickups are too close. Okay, another tip. So next, so here's the aerial view of what we just did. So there is absolutely no schlock or looseness in the bridge, the saddles, the spring, the tailpiece. Everything is going to stay exactly where we put it. Now, it is interesting to note that in the case of this 339, the end of the fingerboard was cut off slightly, like it was on that custom shop 335 that we did for Jeff. But it still needed a compensated nut, and it always will need a compensated nut. You can't expect the manufacturer to be able to adjust that for every possible case scenario. So these are the 10 to 46 strings for Gary, tuned to concert pitch. This guitar is mint condition, pretty well brand new, and it changed hands 3 times. They were having trouble tuning the guitar just before Gibson went into bankruptcy, that they were spending money, God knows how much money, on robotic tuners. Well, the tuners weren't the issue. You need the compensated nut. Gibson have done a lot more right than they've done wrong. How could you not like this guitar? So now we get a chance to hear this guitar. I go through this 1, 7, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1 progression. In this case, in A major. So do it again, different part of the neck. And this is the final call. Case closed.